Adoa TV, bringing good things to life.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African prints and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240 926 564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emils Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
We are coming to you live from our studios on the John Evans at Emils High Street in Accra. We're also streaming live on Facebook at Adoatv Ghana. Remember, the evening news is brought to you by Asatec Roofing Sheet and Cookware, Blue City Ties and Accessories, and Venom Mineral Water. Now, in tonight's bulletin, President Akufo-Addo has indicated that food system is very crucial now due to COVID-19 at this year's Farmers' Day celebration. And His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to arrive in Ghana tonight on a state visit, and we will shed more light on that shortly. Still to come, Member of Parliament for Korle Klottey, Dr. Zenata Rawlings, has appealed to the general public to support persons living with disability, as today marks International Day of Persons Living with Disability. have details of these stories and more in this bulletin. My name is Benedict Adoa. Now, moving on to our first story, President Akufo-Addo has noted that food system worldwide has become very crucial due to COVID-19. Speaking at this year's Farmers' Day celebration in Cape Coast, President Akufo-Addo observed that for this reason, his government is committed and poised in consolidating the gains made in Ghana's agriculture, hence the implementation of several agricultural policies and initiatives. The theme for this year's celebration is Planting for Food and Jobs, Consolidating Food Systems in Ghana.
Agriculture plays a crucial role in the growth of our country, ensuring food security, providing the raw material base for industrial development, earning foreign exchange through exports, and creating much-needed jobs for our young people. The importance of agriculture is not lost on my government. It has found expression in government's coordinated program of economic and social development policies. The theme for this year's celebration is further evidence of government's commitment to the sector. Planting for food and jobs, consolidating the food systems, alludes to the program by government over the last 5 years to modernize and transform Ghanaian agriculture and to build on these gains to improve and expand the sector. Consolidating and strengthening our food systems have become even more critical in light of COVID-19, which continues to disrupt global supply chains and to expose the vulnerability of the food system worldwide. The need thus to build sustainable, resilient, and that can withstand shocks is of the greatest necessity. Fellow Ghanaians, when you so graciously conferred on my modest self the mantle of national leadership nearly 5 years ago, my government set out to transform Ghana through investment in integrated and mutually reinforcing measures that are yielding positive results.
South Africa President, His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, is expected to arrive in Ghana this evening on a state visit. There are several agreements to be signed among the two countries. Among other things, His Excellency Ramaphosa is expected to lay wreath at the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum and also address some business forums with attendants from South Africa and Ghana. Speaking exclusively to Adoatv's Isaac Otu, South Africa High Commissioner to Ghana, Her Excellency Grace Mason underscored the importance of the visit, noting that it further consolidates the bilateral and economic relations between Ghana and South Africa. The following report has more.
The President arrives this evening and he departs on Sunday evening. It's a state visit and the inaugural session of the Binational Commission. Tomorrow, the 4th of December, the President will be received by the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, at Jubilee House for the official welcoming ceremony. The two presidents are expected to also attend the celebration of 50 years on the throne by the Oman Henna in Joburg. Among the dignitaries that will also grace the occasion is traditional authorities, including the Ashanti Henna. As Africans, we understand the significant role played by our traditional leaders in cooperative governance and consolidating our democratic institutions. After the celebrations in Joburg, the presidents will return to Jubilee House for the inaugural session of the Binational Commission, and agreements will be signed. We will communicate to you in due course what these agreements that will be signed. After the inaugural session of the Binational Commission, the President of the Republic will host a dinner in honor of President Ramaphosa at Jubilee House, and that concludes the business for the 4th of December. On the 5th of December, the respective presidents will lay a wreath at the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum. They will then conclude that and continue to address a business forum attended by both South African and Ghanaian businesses under the theme Growing the Gender Dividend. South Africa is headed by a powerful delegation of women in business and industry who will then have interaction with Ghanaian businesses in various sectors of industry. As you know, South Africa has a major footprint in Ghana. We have over 200 South African companies doing business in Ghana. As you know, among the multinational corporations, we have MTN, we've got Goldfields, we've got MultiChoice, we've got the mining industry, we've got the services sector, the banking sectors, and these are the companies that are currently doing business in Ghana. There's over 170 projects to date that have been concluded with South African businesses here in Ghana. And also just under the theme, apart from the business discussions that will be held during the margins of the state visit, during the business forum, as also a discussion on the inclusivity of women in industry. As you know, the trajectory of the African Continental Free Trade Area is to include women, SMEs, and youth as part of the economic development of the continent. The relations between our countries have been elevated to that of a binational level. So, hence the state visit. This further consolidates our bilateral and economic relations between the two countries.
With SAFFTTYD has organized a wheelchair challenge for kids. Go Get Them, with support from Felix Agbotu Foundation, organized a 50-meter wheelchair race for children with disability aged between 12 to 18 at the handball court of the Accra Sports Stadium. Under the auspices of Go Get Them, the event aims to change perceptions about people living with disability and breaking the barriers through this program.
The annual observance of the International Day of Disabled Persons was proclaimed in 1992 by the United Nations General Assembly resolution. It aims to promote the rights and well-being of persons with disabilities in all spheres of society and development, and to increase awareness of the situation of persons with disabilities in every aspect of political, social, economic, and cultural life. In Ghana, Go Get Them, with support from Felix Agbotu Foundation, has organized wheel race for children with disability. About 20 children with physical disability and other types of disabilities, accompanied by their regional reps, were at the event to take part in the fun-filled exercise. Towards the goal, the event aims to identify talent among kids to provide the platform for them to participate in sporting activities and also help them to achieve their dreams in the future with support from corporate organizations. Among other things, the program seeks to enhance physical activities among children with disabilities and help introduce wheelchair sport to them. Prizes were given to the kids who participated in the 50 meters wheelchair race, and they were congratulated by Simon Agbotu, chairman for Felix Agbotu Foundation. Group pictures were taken by their participant, organizers, regional reps, and their parent. After the program, Member of Parliament for Klote-Koli constituency, Honorable Senator Ajiman Rawlings, donated an undisclosed amount of money to the participant.
1,000 cities to at least support, what you've done. And I think with planning towards the next event, we can raise a little bit more money towards what you're going to do next time. So, yes. Congrats again. I'm sorry I couldn't have been here sooner to witness all the effort you put in, but I will be here for the next one. Safe trip back home. Please be safe. Make sure that you're practicing, you're keeping fit, so that you can represent Ghana. There are so many other children who will be looking to you as role models. Please, don't let them down. May God bless you all.
Raphael Botsio Nkegbe, founder Go Get 'em Racing Club, in an interview said that the aim of the club is to give back the society and to inspire the young generation.
I always have one thing in mind, and I keep on saying it all the time, that I don't want to be remembered of Bocho as being 3-time Olympian, 4-time Obla. I want to be remembered of the impact I have in the up-and-coming generation of disabled. And the aim of the Go Get 'em is to give back. Give back, that's the brain behind the club I set out, is give back to the young generation, inspire the next generation. So the motivation is about celebrating these kids and giving back to them, and also be a role model for them going forward, identify the talent they have, and we can use it also to do the sports.
So what's the plan for the kids who have shown talent in sports? Do you have any plans for them?
The plan I have for them is big. One, I will recruit them. I've identified most of them that I can work with in the long term. By 5 years to come, some of them will be 16, some of them will be 17. That's the aim. Then they'll be mature to do the sport. So for now, I'll be inviting them. Once a while, they'll come to join me in Accra, and I'll have some drill like this as I did with them, and keep on motivating them. I'll be visiting them in their schools to see. I'll be in contact with their parents to see the progress of what they are doing. Anything that will make them feel they are part of the society, that's what we are going to do to help them. So they're going forward. Some of them have been already been scouts, and a Go Get 'em Wheelchair Racing Club. That's what we're going to work with them.
Okay, finally, before we let you go, how do you motivate the kids so that along the way they don't get demotivated and derail away from the sports?
That's why we have been through all the struggle, and we know what it takes to encourage this. We live in the continent in Africa and Ghana, which we know persons with disability, you need to be strong, you need to be tough in your mind, you need to be ready to challenge yourself. And that's what some of us have gone through. And because we have gone through this, it's going to set us a motivation we are going to put in this case. Going forward, we will not allow them to give up on the dream they have for themselves. You hear them, some of them mentioning they want to be a footballer, they want to be this, they want to be this. We'll make sure we'll give them any support that they can in terms of aspiring for them to.
On the International Day of Persons with Disability, Honorable Senator Ajiman Rawlings has reiterated that as a Member of Parliament, when it comes to matters of legislation supporting the rights of persons living with disability must be implemented, and she intends to put it on the floor of Parliament. She further said she will make an appeal to corporate organizations to come on board to support such people with equipment and also to help them achieve their dreams.
Well, as a Member of Parliament, this is my constituency that you're in, and in celebration of the International Day of Persons Living with Disability, it was important for me to at least come and show some solidarity. But beyond that as well, it's to just ensure that on the floor of Parliament, matters relevant to the legislation supporting the rights of persons living with disability must be implemented, and we intend to make a lot of noise about that, because you see, we can't keep talking about passing laws, and if we're talking about the inclusivity of our constitution, these people here, with or without the disability that they're having to live with are citizens of this country who have as much a right to have the equal opportunities as other citizens. But the issue of access, even simple access to a building, can make the difference between someone being able to get a particular job or not. And by virtue of not ensuring proper access into a building, you are depriving someone of the opportunity to gain employment. So these are the practical aspects of how we level the playing field for persons who are living with disability to also have equal opportunities. I've spoken to two of the young kids here. Two of them want to be lawyers. One of them wants to be a bank manager. They all partook in the sports events, but they also have aspirations, they have dreams. How do we ensure that as the older people in society, as the legislators or the implementers of whatever laws are in place, responsible leaders in our various communities, how are we ensuring that these young children, that their dreams come to pass, that we don't kill their hopes because we are depriving them of basic access to buildings, of opportunities to have education, of the opportunities to participate in sports if they want to. You know, we hear so much about football. We hear so much about football in Ghana. What about the Paralympics? What about the participation in other forms of sport? We want them to participate in sports. Are we making sure that they have sports facilities that are wheelchair accessible, that can be modified so that they can be using them as well? You know, it's if you're saying that people should do one thing and you're not providing them with the means to achieve that, you're killing their dream and you're killing their hope. And we need to stop doing that. We need to make sure that everything that we're saying is not just rhetoric. We're actually putting structures in place to ensure that we are playing an even, we're leveling the playing field for persons living with disabilities. But they have struggled to get where they are. But the point you have for your forebears is for them to break ground so it's easier for the next generation. At this point, we should not be having discussions about wheelchair accessibility to government buildings, but we're still having issues with that. So those are the fundamental issues that we should be dealing with if we really intend to push this agenda of inclusivity of all persons, so that they can also have the opportunity to aspire and achieve their dreams. I spoke to the children earlier, and I mentioned to the adults, and with the permission of the parents, whether we could actually put them out on social media and then link them to corporates or individuals who want to support them. Because it's not easy. I spoke to a gentleman whose daughter wants to be a bank manager. He's a mason by profession. That's his trade. But he's not able to work because he must carry her to school and carry her back from school. He cares for her. He's a single parent. So in a situation like that, how do you ensure that this child can reach as high as she wants to and is not limited by the socioeconomic status of her one living parent who is not able to work full-time because he needs to care for her? The society must be fair and we must be just. We must provide the equal opportunities, but it's by practicalizing and not just by talking. So yes, I will push as far as I can to ensure that as many corporates as possible and individuals who are able can support and adopt some of these young ones, whether it's in sports or in the academics, to make sure that they can also achieve their dreams.
From that, in an interview with Nanaya Ado of the Adoa News Desk, Dr. Simon Ejin has noted that vaccination is an effective way of preventing the severe forms of the COVID-19 virus. This follows an announcement by the Director General for the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kuma Abuaji, confirming the emergence of the new COVID-19 variant on 1st December 2021.
So the basic thing is that we know there will be quite a number of variants. Like we realized earlier on that Delta came in, consumed a lot of lives. Okay. Now we also realized another strain of the virus had set in, and it's virtually, there are a lot of hospitalization. This morning I was looking at the number of people who have been admitted in South Africa in one facility, and it's quite amazing. Like you look at the chunk number of people who have been admitted just because of one variant. Okay. So now WHO doesn't know even how much or how bad or how bad the transmission is, okay, whether compared to Delta, because we don't have a lot of information now. So if you have to even address an issue concerning Omicron, we don't have a lot of data on that. That's how come a lot of people are pushing for the fact that if you address or if you isolate anybody with COVID-19, you need to let the public or the people know about the gene, the component of this virus, so that it's easy for follow-up and for recommendations and comparison, and even to know whether the vaccine in the existence is really going to work for it or not. With regards to the Omicron virus, I mean, a lot of people in South Africa have been affected now, but then we don't have enough data to even say that it is quite dangerous than the Delta we had, or it is quite bad and it can cause you to lose your life as compared to Delta. I mean, it takes time, and I'm sure within the next few days or weeks to come, we'll get to know a lot concerning the virus. What I know is that even if you've had a COVID infection before, which also gives you some form of immunity at the end of the day, if you are still prone to even acquire new variants or new variants of the virus, like the Omicron. So with respect to whether you vaccinate, it's good. The vaccination, it's a stop, or it's a way of preventing you from getting severe forms of the virus. So if you get the infection, instead of you getting a bad reaction to the virus, your body has already been introduced to some form of immunity already. So it's likely that you won't develop the severe form of the disease. But then, as to say whether you are completely immune to the new variant which is in existence, I think WHO is really working with some researchers to really come up with other ideas to know whether the old vaccines will really be effective against the new variant that we have in existence. I don't think we have enough data to say that Ghanaians are completely immune once you've been vaccinated. Then it means that we are giving them the assurance that they can even stop using face masks, they can continue doing the things they do, and I think that wouldn't really help us. Just like we know, COVID will still be with us for a very long time until probably we are all completely immune to the virus. But then until then, we need to observe the precautions, okay? And even the nation Ghana should also know that we still have to observe the precautions we started with from the beginning at the airports and at our borders and all that. Make sure that you wash your hands regularly. Make sure that you avoid public places where you have a lot of people. If you are in a room, try and open your levers or whatever you have, so that you get enough aeration into the room. Trying to observe all those precautions will help us to prevent us from contracting this virus. But then if you say you are immune and that you've been vaccinated and you don't want to take any precautions, it may surprise you, because they adapt new ways to really infect our system. So the only way to deal with it is to prevent you from getting the virus. Okay? But I think with the use of face,
Halitophobia has contributed to lots of people brushing twice daily, making it one of the most important roles in their daily lives. Halitophobia is the fear of halitosis, which is also known as bad breath or oral malodor. It is an embarrassment to a lot of people, and so professional health workers have grown interest in their patients' concern. Nana Yado has more to this report.
Halitosis is caused by a person eating volatile food such as garlic, onions, spices, tobacco, etc. Alcohol is one of the major causes of bad breath. Halitosis, also known as oral malodor, has symptoms and good remedies for prevention and treatment. Dr. Simon Agin from the Ghana Institute of Clinical Genetics explicitly explained how halitosis is caused, its symptoms, its remedies, as he spoke to Nanaya Ado from the Adoa news team.
I think it's a big thing that we all need to be concerned about, because when you talk of halitosis, it basically means that you have a bad breath, and sometimes it's very difficult for somebody to even know whether he or she has a bad breath. So until somebody close by, or probably your partner, or maybe somebody who has probably noticed that kind of smell from you for a very long period, to really alert you. Otherwise, you yourself, you may not be able to tell whether you have a bad breath or not. So it's something that can affect virtually everyone. It's not some peculiar people that it affects. If you are not able to go through the right procedures or take care of yourself very well, like we know, personal hygiene, you are not able to take care of yourself very well, you are likely to get a bad breath. And so bad breath, it's something that it means that you are giving out a bad odor from your mouth. Okay, that's basically the meaning. So I agree with them in a way because a lot of time from childhood we all knew that when there is some bad odor coming from your mouth, your mother believes that you have some infection inside your nose or sometimes inside your head itself. And so they tend to either give you some medications or even tend to do other local treatments for you. But then when you talk of bad breath, the causes are a lot. If I have to start from the dental point of view, even come to the medical point, where the dentist is concerned about what is coming from the mouth. So if you have a problem with your teeth, if you have a tooth decay, if you also have a problem with your gum, what really support the teeth, okay? If you have a problem with the tongue itself, some people don't know the habit of cleaning the tongue itself. So they either clean the teeth and forget about cleaning the tongue. So if you have any problem coming from any of these regions within the mouth, you are likely to also get a bad breath. Occasionally, when we eat and we even forget to brush our teeth in the night, what happens is that these food particles which are in between the teeth will be digested by bacteria, and so as a result of that, they will come up with bad breath the next day because you are producing substances which contain sulfur, and it's likely that in the next day you'll be having bad breath. Occasionally, aside that, you have infections, common infections like you have a sore tooth, you have infection in your nose, or around the nose, what we call sinusitis. If you have infection that will probably cause you to have ulcers or wounds on your mouth and all that, it's likely that you also come with the same bad breath. Occasionally, medical conditions like people with liver failure, what we mean that your liver has failed completely, or people who are alcoholics who probably end up drinking so much that the liver will fail at the end of the day, may also come with bad breath. Some medications that we are giving to some of our patients, like cancer treatment and all that, may also end up giving you bad breath. The causes are really plenty, but then the basic things we know are that if somebody who is not able to take care of him or herself, especially with concerns to the mouth, and also if you have infection around the mouth and the nose region, you are likely to have bad breath. And people who are alcoholics, if they drink a lot, they forget to even brush their teeth the next day, and it's also likely to come with the same effects. I had the habit, there are some people we call halitophobia or halitophobia. So these people are scared, or they think that they have bad breath. Actually, they don't have bad breath. So then they end up being too obsessed with the fact that I need to brush my teeth 3 or 4 times in a day. I need to clean my mouth. I need to use mouth. They are all concerned that they think they have bad breath. But a lot of time happen is that if you have a bad breath, you may not be able to tell. But then somebody nearby, or a colleague, or your sibling, or somebody could really inform you. Otherwise, if you want to know you have a bad breath, breathe onto some friend or somebody that you want the person to check whether you have bad breath or not. Otherwise, the other option is that you see your wrist, just put or lick around your wrist, leave it to dry, and after that, you can just smell it to see whether the smell coming from that area is really bad or good. Okay, if you can do that, I think it should help. Otherwise, if you can't do any of that, come to the hospital. There are techniques and other procedures that the doctors will do to really test whether you have bad breath or not. A lot of time I actually emphasize on the fact that majority of the things actually lies with us. So if you can really deal with the home remedies, it helps a lot. Making sure you are brushing your teeth regularly, morning and evening, making sure that you are changing your brush. I know some people who will never even change their brush over years, but then if you can change your brush every 3 or 4 months, that would be very helpful. If you are somebody who likes smoking, taking alcohol, okay, caffeine occasionally, you need to hold on all those and spicy foods, especially in the evenings. You need to avoid all those food substances. And a lot of times, so you need to know when to visit your dentist for checkup, so that you drink a lot of water. Just like we know, if your mouth is very dry, it's likely that you'll be getting bad breath from your mouth. So you need to drink a lot of water most of the time. After doing all this, I think it should help. Avoiding all this and making sure you see your dentist and all that should help you with it. But then if you have a medical condition that could lead to you getting a...
Ghanaian women have outlined measures to be put in place to ensure the eradication of gender-based violence. These measures they outlined were pursuant to an interview conducted by our reporter Mary Korte with regards to the 16 days of activism against sexual and gender-based violence campaign launched with a pledge to challenge every form of violence against women and girls. This year's campaign is themed Orange the World, End Violence Against Women Now.
16 days activism campaign against gender-based violation is in line with the International Day set aside for the elimination of violence against women and girls. Now, this year's campaign is themed Orange the World, End Violation Against Women. A session of Ghanaians have shared diverse ways concerning measures that should be put in place to curb the menace.
The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, through the Domestic Violence Secretariat, with support from the United Nations in Ghana, European Union in Ghana, Oxfam in Ghana and other partners, had earlier launched a media campaign to mark this year's 16 days of activism against sexual and gender-based violence, with a pledge to challenge every form of violence against women and girls. The 16 days of activism against gender-based violence is an annual international campaign that kicks off on 25th November, which is the day set aside for the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. The theme aims to bring together civil society and women's rights organizations, as well as the UN system, the Action Coalition on Gender-Based, and government partners to advocate for inclusive, comprehensive, and long-term strategies, programs, and resources to prevent and eliminate violence against women and girls. Ms. Theresa stated that various government institutions, including the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, must endeavor to stand up for their fellow women, including the sensitization of mass education on what women ought to know.
You know, minimum some organizations say take care of Sanya man, because Ghana was Sisiano. Say, I say we will push things to direct people engage man. In the only time I can say man or take care of Sanya. Once I found share unye be shoes. Na feel it say woo and the air was I can say uba and the air repin air saying our bed. Into a mom home race no boy or more education or more educating crop for I bet to me train or my benefit Sanya man.
Ms. Dora was also of the view that it is high time women stand up for themselves.
Nini na ye emano yankasa ye modern bone. Esan say I was a wow we a person who set standard any goal for yourself. Untimi enf na hon fa won san hye wo dem refam na won pese obi mpian so we ni sa enye ye nipa no pian kura obeto form who go make effort but one kasa who make effort na wo di BBC weni so say e bia by 2 months time, by 5 months 5 years time me pese me dru ha enu sa no be make means and maybe I would be do and say determination any the tenacity I would be do.
However, with regards to the abuse of young girls, Mrs. Victoria Kwaku blamed that on lack of adequate parental care. She has beckoned on her fellow women to stand up for their girl child no matter what.
Noni bani ihani aripa gbeke bi ekume hu je follow kume ni ka me kegbege bi bajele mi nakai amenu chumo ne sana me kwa akashi mi nu chumo ji machuni ni makwembile bi eshe kutem ne ba chuni akepi otabatele la ke yanu ya ho abachule kume ne sani iya ne sani mami akwa ke o gbeke mi dutiji makwele ke ashi ni ibagbe school na edani echuni shi kama miekele bano bie na 10 years 12 years no akani etelele ake ya ho e achuni nile we na kweye no ke bale na kake mukukele no kofio ba machubo akeshikala kale fio pe abanya fele fo sika wo follow banyo kwa ke gbege bie woni wo ka me ba wonu tumoji wo kwa me ka asieni esana me banya me chuni eda na ngma me ye iyo yake raping pie ese bafu.
It is said that violence against women and girls continues to be a barrier to gender equality in most countries around the world, including Ghana, despite the numerous ongoing programs and interventions. The adverse consequences of violence on battered women and girls in relation to their health, psychological, and emotional well-being compromise and undermine their development. Since the outbreak of COVID-19, emerging data has shown that all types of violence against women and girls, particularly domestic violence, have intensified, and the world was unprepared to respond to its rapid escalation. Ms. Theresa subsequently demanded the punishment should be meted out to either men or women who indulge in gender-based violence.
Yes, I am. So some bomb they are not traumas because we trauma so next time. Yes, I be no be who say I true be aso. Nipa so ntumi yes I be. Aso twi de wo ho bebre. E bia nipa no ho no e bia adwuma e no ni nti no gusu yes ah. Ono ne sa na bia akwadwo nti no onye adwuma no. Mma na adwuma we hu say opanish no obeye adwuma no. Nti no ne ayi na aso twi de wo bebre. Obi wo nso a wo de no go to prison na e beboa no. Ama na adwen sakra. Obi wo nso a obepe baby amana sha be tight onya freedom enye nnyama because obi wo no munsa anaso bi wo drugs so nti na sade nti no wutwe no visa ne ama no ho a e bi onya ho kwan enye sa ne ama ne bi nti ye show mo mumboy.
It is said that what men can do, women can do it better. With much effort that women are putting in place to stand up for themselves, the call is being made on the masses to join the campaign. Let's join the campaign, Orange the World, and end violence against girls and women. For Adoatv News, my name is Mary Quarty.
Railways Development Minister John Peter Mew has stated that government has not signed any contract with the concessionaire to construct a SkyTrain. According to him, what has been signed is a memorandum of understanding. Mr. Peter Mew further stressed the inability of government to construct a SkyTrain in the next 3 to 4 years. He explained that the current information on Ghana's debt shows that it cannot incur a cost of about $12 billion to see the construction of the project.
Yes, I was on record to have stated categorically that it's not possible within 3 years to complete the SkyTrain. Yes, and I'm repeating that. It's not possible. The cost of the SkyTrain, if had to be done today, is about $12 billion. I'm told that the cost per kilometer is in the range of $11 to $12 million. And constructing a SkyTrain is not like building a road. And so if you consider the period for 3 years, it's not possible. Sometimes we need to be very honest and very objective. And that is why I said for the period 3 years, it's not possible. I'm not on record to have said that SkyTrain, it's not possible in Ghana. It can be done in Ghana. But within that 3 years period that I've been asked for, I'm saying it and I'm still insisting that it cannot be done within the period of 3 years. Concessionaires programs or contracts, as you rightly said, had not been signed. What had been done within the framework is to sign an MOU. An MOU, of course, is not contracts, and largely it's not even binding. And so though an MOU is in place, what is allowed the ministry to do is to begin to put in measures to see how the project will be executed. That project, it's supposed to be funded again by government of Ghana based on the government balance sheet. What it means is that there's an opportunity for some loan to be brought in, and government balance sheet will receive that loan. And of course, today we are all aware the current problems in which the COVID has put all countries all over the world. So government's ability to absorb debt in funding a project of $12 billion, it's not possible within the next 3 years.
Motorists and residents living in and around Pokwasi Ablekuma in Accra are living in fear as a street light pole has been bent with its edges in the middle of a road, leading to accidents and posing a death trap. Now, a resident who spoke to Ms. Ankra off camera said all attempts to get the attention of authorities to correct the defect has fallen on deaf ears. Ms. Ankra has more.
One major factor contributing to road accidents in recent times is the absence of street and traffic lights on highways, throwing many streets into complete darkness, which in turn leads to the collision of vehicles. Just this year alone, road carnages have increased more than the number of people who have lost their lives to COVID-19. Pokwasi Ablekuma is a suburb of Accra. Many residents are living in fear over a broken traffic light and a pole. This traffic light serves commuters and motorists on the Pokwasi Ablekuma Agape High Street. A high street with the absence of a street light and a traffic light may only be like blind individuals walking in the full glare of the sun. One may meet their untimely death by plying this road. Not only is it a threat to motorists, but also to commuters, as the pole lies on the pedestrian walkway, forcing pedestrians to walk on the main road when they get to that part of the stretch. No amount of words was able to convince residents of this community and adjoining ones to speak to the news team. According to them, this isn't the first time and the last time they will be engaging the media. However, it seems as though authorities in charge have given a blind eye to their concern. More dangerous is that this stretch of the road is in total darkness at night. For Peace Esiedu, a 56-year-old resident who agreed to speak to me off camera, what makes the situation more appalling is that it's been almost a year now, and even with the many accidents occurring, nothing triggers authorities to correct the defect. She speaks with tears on her cheeks. We feel neglected, and it's simple because no high personality has been affected by it yet, she said in a can. For Elizabeth Saki, she's only hoping against hope that attention will be given to them.
Proposed electronic transactions levy, which was contained in the 2022 budget statement, has sparked public uproar and has been greeted with mixed reactions. The approval or rejection of the policy document has sparked chaos and drama in Parliament over the last few days. Now, while some civil society organizations and individuals are calling for a reduction of the 1.75% levy, others want a total scrape-off. They spoke to Adoa Mabina.
Mr. Emmanuel Nikwe opined that both the majority and the minority caucuses knows what they are doing, and that a reduction of the percentage on the e-levy may not be necessary, but rather a total scrap-off will do.
Both parties they have their individual differences. The minority have the reason why they say it should be slashed off, and the majority too know the reason why they said it should be there. But when the people are crying because of this hardship in this country, and the people there are just saying we should pay another tax on our e-levy, I think it's not fair enough for the country as a whole. Since we normally say we are not in normal times. So what I'm saying is that the e-levy should be looked at again so that we'll come back, because people are being charged for this mobile money transactions and e-levy on the banking transactions. So I think it's enough than adding another 1.7, 1 point something to whatever thing has been done.
Kwame lay in bed with his opinion, as he also wants it completely scrapped off.
It was the same Baumia who complained about taxing the poor or taxing the momo, right? And now you are back. It's like robbing. It's a twisted Peter Pan. You get me? Yeah. So a twisted Robin Hood. So why will you keep doing that to the poor Ghanaians? I mean, we are in a country where everything is hiking high. You see inflation here and there. Day in, day out, we sit in the car and driver will tell you there is increase in petroleum. So I don't understand what this whole parliament MPs are doing. You get me? So like, let's just rule this e-levy out of that budget. Let's rule it out of it, and let's give Ghanaians what they need. Reduce taxing. That's what we want.
Stephen, however, suggests that a reduction in the levy's percentage will do, as the proposed rate may bring more hardship.
The best thing is for the government to reduce the the amount they are mentioning, so that the business people will benefit, because looking at the amount they are mentioning is too outrageous. So yes, so I think the best thing is for them to reduce it so that it will benefit the business owners as well as the small enterprises, because it's not easy. The system is very tough. Ghanaians are really struggling, so I think if they reduce it, it will benefit all of us.
This is the evening news on Adoatv. We'll be back shortly with sports.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
Welcome back, and moving on to sports now. Boxing provides children with essential skills that benefit many aspects of their social development inside and outside of the ring. Kids boxing teaches basic boxing skills and techniques such as stance, guard, and movement. Our limelight today falls on some children at the Akotoku Boxing Academy who have taken up the sport at a young age as their career. Coach Elvis Robertson took us through their training programs and how they are shaping them for the future.
Youth boxing is boxing training for kids, generally ages between 7 to 17, and it's been designed to be an introduction to boxing as well as guide for advancing boxing skills. Youth boxing teaches kids about fundamentals of boxing training such as correct fighting stances and basic punches. Keeping kids physically active is more difficult and more important than ever, and boxing is one of the most engaging, enjoyable activities that will ignite your kids' love for exercise. It also teaches kids about discipline, persistence, and hard work. Our spotlight fell on the work of kids in Akotoku Boxing Academy, a work that Coach Elvis Robertson has been upon himself to teach the kids the technique in boxing. Coach Elvis Robertson spoke about the programs he has designed for the young boxers and how he keeps them motivated in order not for them to derail away from boxing.
Kids in Odododo or in Bukom, Jamestown, are being motivated by the people around, and you know, in the community that we live, they don't really like schooling, although education is very important, but they see boxing as a profession and a future career for them. So they sometimes look up to the people who have made it before in the community. So that is where the motivation comes from for them to start boxing in Bukom. Because they are kids, you can't be matching them up to the older ones. We give them normal training that will keep them, that will make them, a little bit of fitness. So that is the kind of training we give them. We don't give them like intense training, just a normal one, just to keep them.
He further elaborated on the kind of gloves, the punching bag, and the type of equipment the kids use.
It's the same, but just that the sizes changes. Like for instance, older boxer can use a 10 ounces gloves, but for them we have 6, 8 for them. And for their punching bag, they're not supposed to be using the heavy bag because of their age. So we normally give them smaller like sizes for them to use as their training kits. The community that we live in, we see ourselves as boxing is our business, it's our everything here. We eat boxing, we drink boxing, we sleep boxing, we use boxing to do everything. Despite education is very important, but we see boxing as our everything here. So the parents here, about 90% support their kids to be part of boxing. And also sometimes we honor talent by going out to places around Jamestown to do a small boxing show with some of the experienced ones here, just to motivate people. So sometimes the kids also follow. Oh, coach, I want to train with you. Coach, I want to be like this one. So that is how we get them into boxing sometimes. We do that through our theory, like sometimes we have a special day that we take them through boxing lessons or social life, everything concerning boxing or outside the ring, the way they can behave when they are home, the way they can talk to people when they are not only boxing. So they get a lot of motivation for us. Even sometimes we try to motivate them with like snacks for them to be happy.
That is all for tonight on the evening news at 6 on Adoa TV. A recap of our top stories. President Akufo-Addo has indicated that food system is very crucial now due to COVID-19 as this year's Farmers' Day celebration. And His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to arrive in Ghana tonight on a state visit. And Member of Parliament for Korle Klottey, Dr. Zanito Rawlings, has appealed to the general public to support persons living with disability as today marks International Day of Persons Living with Disability. For more news, log on to our website, www.adonewsonline.com. You can also follow us on Facebook at Adoatv Ghana. The Evening News is brought to you by Asatec Roofing Sheet and Cookware, Blue City Ties and Accessories, and Vena Mineral Water. My name is Benedicta Dodu. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of the day.